Today, we are looking at a shocking new data analysis that is sending shock waves through the political landscape in the US and Canada. According to the latest raw polling data analyzed by CNN, Donald Trump's solid core voter base is showing major cracks. Key groups that powered him to victory back in 2024, including independents, young men, and working class families, are rapidly shifting away from him. Today, we are breaking down these massive numbers, looking at the exact percentage drops, and discussing what this means for the future of Republican Party. Well, I am Frank John, and this is Joshu Reaction, where you find always the truth. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. So let's get started. Let's start with a group that traditionally decides American presidencies, independent voters. In the 2024 election, Trump won independents by a couple of points, but according to recent averages, he is now sitting at a staggering 43 points underwater, with them a massive 45-point negative shift. To put this into historical perspective, his approval rating with independents is currently lower than Richard Nixon's during the height of the Watergate scandal. We are seeing a similar collapse in the suburbs. While Trump held a small lead in suburban areas back in late 2024, his net approval rating there has plummeted to minus 20 points, which is already showing up in recent down ballot special elections. Perhaps the most surprising part of the data is what's happening with the young men under 30. Remember, Trump made history in 2024 by becoming the first Republican nominee this century to win the young man demographic, but that sport has completely flipped. His net approval among young men on the overall presidency has dropped to minus 55 points. When you look at the economy specifically, the shift is even more dramatic, a massive 66-point turnaround. Young men are expressing deep frustration over the economy, stating that it is harder to find a job, that the dream of buying a home has fallen through the floor, with only 29% of adults under 35 believing they can buy a house in the next 5 years. However, it is not all bad news for the Trump coalition. The data shows that the Republican base is not completely abandoning him. In fact, several core groups are holding incredibly strong. White evangelicals remain firmly in his camp, with nearly 70% supporting the GOP ticket. Self-identified Republicans are also completely loyal, with a 92% support rate of House Republicans. Furthermore, Trump is holding his ground with senior aged 65 and older and voters making over $50,000, showing 0% movement away from his 2024 numbers. Most importantly, his approval on border security remains high at 53%, proving that his core message on immigration still resonates with a clear majority of the American public. What makes this data analysis so urgent are the immediate political ramifications for the upcoming midterm elections and the 2028 presidential race. Because of Trump's falling numbers, the generic congressional ballot has shifted heavily, with Democrats now leading among independent voters by 16 points. On top of that, the sinking tide is pulling down potential 2028 Republican contenders. Vice President J.D. Vance is currently sitting at 44 points underwater with independents, while Secretary of State Marco Rubio is 36 points underwater. The data suggests that if these numbers hold, the Republican Party is facing a massive uphill battle. It is an incredibly complex and shifting political map as the country moves closer to the midterms, but I want to know what you think. Do you believe these polling numbers represent a real shift in the American electorate, or are these polls failing to capture the truth strength of Trump's movement? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. I am Frank John. We are Christian and in God we trust. God bless America. Make sure to like, subscribe and turn on notification, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Talk soon. Bye bye.